Head by me, Self-Growth Sundays, because you are more than just a mom. Today's video is going to be about budgeting. And just to say, if you see this is a little head. That's my son's little head. He's sitting with me. You know, he just likes to sit by me. And yeah, we're just going to talk about budgeting. I got seven points to discuss, and I've written it all down because Lord knows I'm not going to remember it at the top of my head. So I'm just going to quickly mention, if you want to know what my channel is all about and a little bit more about me, feel free to go watch my first two videos. My first one is about my channel intro, and my second one is like a mummy tag, like a get to know me tag. So if you've got any questions or want to know more about me, feel free to watch those two videos, and also my previous video, my labor and delivery stories for both my children. Right, so I'm just gonna get into it. So the first thing I want to say is, for those people who don't like budgeting, like my mom for example, like even a lot of people just don't like budgeting. It's just time consuming. For me, I love it. So you can do a one-off budget, and it's just basically to see where you're at with your expenses and your money and all that stuff. So I did this with my mom a few months ago. I just basically sat down with her and we just sort of laid out all her, like her income and all her expenses, and just to see what's happening. And we realized she could save more than she actually does. So you don't have to like keep on like budgeting all the time. You can do it once in a while just to see what's happening, you know, and you could realize that you've got spare money, or you're overspending, or all that stuff. So now for people who are a little bit like me, a little bit like slightly obsessed with a budget. My mom thinks I'm obsessed, my husband thinks I'm a little bit too into it, but you know, it's a good tool to have because it helps me save money, because I'm cautious with money. The funny thing with me is, like, I like spending money. I'll be buying the most pointless things, but at the same time I know how to save money because I know how to allocate money well. Okay, so I'm just going to get into it now. The first point is, it's not really a tip, it's just how you do your budget. So you have all your expenses at the top. You have all your income at the top. You put the date, put where it's coming from and how much, and then you just basically add it all up. And then the bottom part, you put all your expenses in there. And the bottom part is you just have to put all your expenses. Again, put the date, put what expense it is and how much it is, and add it all up. And you can do it in 4 sections if you don't have like a one massive clump. It also depends how much of your expenses you have, you know, so it all just depends. If you don't have too many expenses, you can just do it in one clump, but if you've got like a lot, you can section them up and do mini subtotals, and then do like a grand total at the bottom. And now there are apps out there that you could use to do budgeting. Of course there are, but I'm just weird like that. Like, I don't use a particular app for budgeting. I've downloaded them, but I don't even use them. I just don't see the point. I manually do my budgeting, and I do them on a daily basis, multiple times a day. Like I said, borderline obsessed. So the first point, that's the first point. Not really a point, but you know, the basics of doing a budget. It should balance. Your income and your expenses should balance up. If they don't, then it's telling you something. Whether your income is higher than your expenses, which means you've got some spare money laying around, maybe you could save it or do something with it. Never have your money just loose. Always have, all your money should be allocated to something specific, whether it's your pocket money for yourself or savings or free shopping, whatever it is. But if your expenses is higher than your income, you might have to find another source of income, or reduce on your expenses, because at the end of the day, a budget needs to balance up. Your income and your expenses has to balance up. My second point is, be honest with the numbers. This might sound a little bit weird to lie to yourself, but I was in a little bit of an denial, because I use Amazon Prime, which is like £7.99, and I never used to put it in my budget. To this day, it's not in my budget. I don't really know why, but obviously I know that it's gonna come out of my account at the end of the month. I know, but I've not physically put it down. It just keeps slipping my mind. But always make sure you put everything down. And I know it's like practice what you preach, but But yeah, always make sure you pin all the numbers down. All your expenses should be written. And question number 3, or point number 3 rather, check the numbers. Now check the numbers, I just basically mean, so if you've got like subsections, make sure everything adds up. You have to add everything up. Like I said, it's tedious. Having a budget is tedious, but I just love it. But just make sure it balances up. Check all the information. If an expense comes out, you delete it. Yeah, so make sure the numbers line up, because if they don't, it's like you'll think, oh yeah, I can save £300, but maybe you made a mistake and really you just have £50 left. You're gonna be disappointed. So always check the numbers. Always check the numbers. Even if you're using an app, always check the number. I can't stress this enough. Like, live within your means. Living within your means just basically means spend your money on what you can afford. If you've only got £30 for that nice top you wanted to get, or that nice outfit, don't go trying to impress people and try to spend £100 on an outfit. Like, just don't do it. Don't do it. You can't afford it, you can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like, stick to what you know. Live within your means. People with me, I'm good at sort of reallocating my expenses and fixing it. If I spend money that was not in the budget, I find a way to fix it. I adjust on my expenses. I reduce where I need to reduce. But I'm trying to be good, you know, trying to be good, but it's not that easy, you know. Sometimes you want to order takeaway. Like, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I just want to eat something different than from the food we usually cook at home. So I'll order a takeaway. I'll go to Uber Eats. I'll go to Deliveroo. And it's okay as long as you can reallocate that expense. So I have my own pocket money. So I'll do that from my own pocket money. Even though I didn't plan to buy this food, just do that. Or I'll reduce from the food shopping, you know. Maybe I'll take a £5 off the food shopping. I'll reallocate. I don't just leave it like that, you know. My budget is always balanced. Always balanced. And sorry, you guys, this is mum life, honestly. If you've seen that you've tried to do a budget and you've seen that you've got some money laying around, why not save it, you know? Or maybe you were struggling to pay that bill. Pay that bill. But for me, every time I get a little extra money, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I'm saving that money. I'm saving that money. My mom laughs at me. She's like, oh my gosh, you're into your savings, aren't you? I'm like, Mom, we need to save money out here. Like, life can just happen, you know? And they say, like, someone was telling me this. I think one of my managers at work was telling me, what was this then? That you should always have, or he read it somewhere, that you should always have 3 months worth of savings. As in, if you ever lost your job, for 3 months you can survive without an income. So it's not easy, but it's a good goal to aspire to. So yeah, I'm always trying to save. No matter how small the amount is, I'm always trying to save money. It's not easy out here. So my 6th point is keep an eye on your budget and always adjust it, which is basically linked to what I've already said. You just have to always adjust your budget. If you finally paid your rent, take that expense off. Make sure you recalculate everything and make sure it balances up. Always keep an eye out. Always, always, always. It's very important to keep an eye on your budget. And some apps also have like a little reminder, or they'll give you like a notification if you've gone over your budget or anything like that. So that always comes in handy. And my last point is just stick with it. Simply stick with it. If you really want to like improve on how much you spend money, or you want to save money, stick with it. It works. And you know, saving money doesn't mean you have to save a big amount. Save as little or as much as you can. And if you want any more information on how I save money, I can do that for like a future video. But for this video, that's pretty much it. And if you've watched it to the very end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave me a comment down below if you have any budgeting techniques or saving techniques or anything you want to discuss. Feel free to leave in the comments down below. And like I mentioned, I use Deliveroo and Uber Eats. I also have the links down below. If like you're like a new user, new user, a new subscriber to Deliveroo, you get £10 off. Yeah, and remember, be positive. It's gonna get easier. Bye. See you in my next video.